All right, welcome back everyone to ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone. Sorry about that, but we are back here live at the Racing Radio's 14-hour Enduro. And not much has changed here. That little bit in the commercial for AutoZone, he always says, "Come on, road, give us your worst," or
best
something
shot.
like.
Yeah,
I'm always like, kind of cringe when he's. I can't imagine ever saying that. "Come on, road, give me your worst." That's like, nah, I don't think I would say that.
Yeah.
But
God sometimes sees those things as a challenge.
oh yeah, you want a challenge? Okay.
Yeah. Here, I'll give you something.
What's up, Polly? Just a blue screen, no audio. What did Bill do now? Oh, he didn't do anything. I take breaks during the commercial. I walk away, and every once in a great big while, I stay away too long. So sometimes I'm not in here. So apologize for that. But we got a lot of people ask. I was thinking, we got a lot of people asking about the rules and where to find the rules. I thought it'd be good, since we have quite a bit of time on our hands here. Maybe we'd talk about Champ Car. Doc and I could kind of lay out a synopsis of what Champ Car is about.
Sure.
So that you guys would understand a little bit about how it's structured and how it's unique. And as I was thinking about that, Doc, I was thinking, what makes Champ Car unique is in two specific areas, and that is how the race is run, and then how the car is prepared. So this is what came to mind. So I'm going to lay this out here for you guys and see if this isn't confusing enough. Okay, so back when the series was early on, when it first started, the way it was structured was, regarding the car, was this idea of buy a $500 car and go race it. And you have to put safety gear in it, of course. That stuff doesn't count towards its value. But the car's value, the dollar value, played a role in how much stuff you could do to it. Because if you bought a car that was only worth, say, $250, well, then you could add $250 worth of stuff to it and still run within a given class without being sent into the exception class. And so there was a lot of this stuff going on with people providing proof of purchases and, oh, this is what the going price is for this suspension equipment on eBay and all this kind of stuff. Well, that went on for a while, and then at some point management decided this isn't really working. We're going to change it from dollars to points. And so we still work on that $500 number, but instead of being $500, it's 500 points. And so when you go out to the rule book, you will see something called a VPI table. That's Vehicle Performance Index. So similar to the way we did it in the old days, where we focused on, say, a Miata worth $400, and you could put some suspension stuff on if you wanted to take it up to 500 before they start adding laps to your start position. Now we do it with points, that's all. And so that Vehicle Performance Index, the idea is you type in a car, you type in the year, and this is the engine, and and it says, okay, this is what the point value is of your car. So if it's a Miata, say it's a 92, it might be worth, say, I don't know, 380 points or something like that. And so now you have up to 500 points, additional things you can lay on the car. And we have it all broken down so you can see, oh, well, if you want to add a certain amount of metal, then it's this many points per square foot or something like that.
Yeah.
And other things are considered non-additive, so you can put brakes on it, play around with the ECU, doesn't cost you any points. So that's basically the way it's structured. The idea, the concept is that, and obviously it's not perfect, and it's not going to be this way in a perfect world, but the idea is that all of the cars end up being equal. It's not obviously completely true, but it's interesting that if you
you have horses for courses.
Yeah, if you look at our standings right now, the top four cars are all each of the leaders of the top four classes. So obviously, we don't have one class that's totally brutalizing everybody else. So in this particular instance, when you look at the top four, you're seeing parity. So that's kind of how you structure the car cost-wise. Some things don't figure into the cost, like safety equipment and other things, and all that's detailed out in the book. Okay, so that's the car. Now when it comes to actually driving the car, our rules are also a little bit unique in that you can put a guy in the car for up to 2 hours long, but he has to take at least a 1 hour break after that. The other thing that's interesting is that whenever you come in to take fuel, you have to spend at least 5 minutes in the pits. And the third thing that's interesting is when it comes to the fuel tank, it has to be basically the same size, no more than 2 gallons additional for the factory gas tank that came in that base model or in that chassis. Because of that, now you're trying to pick, okay, well, what kind of car do I go with? Because I can't just put any massive fuel cell in there and run as much gas as I want and stop every 2 hours when the driver has to be changed. So now you're trying to figure out, how can I get this car 2 hours out? I pull the driver out, I do my 5-minute pit stop, I fill the car with gas, I send the next guy out, and he does not have to pit for 2 hours. That cuts down those pit stops. I think that kind of hopefully gives you the layout of what Champ Car is and how it works. Doc, do you think you should add anything to that?
Yes, I think the best thing about Champ Car are the people. I maintain that, if you leave a left control arm out, somebody will leave you a right one.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But the people are awesome. The staff is awesome. The volunteers are awesome. Everybody you meet, everybody, face it, you're not racing for a big paycheck here. So it's just, people having fun. I always maintain that this is about the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. The thing about without the big rule book, and we get
when we changed over from the $500 car to the points-based system, Bill tells a story about you saw all the Hondas out there and they all had these. I think they were purple parts or something like that. They were Honda performance parts. He said at the end of the race, you saw all of those sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
I would maintain that the best thing you can do is build your car for reliability and get seat time.
Oh, absolutely. No question. No question. If you watch our races, you will see the top 10 teams are teams that typically stay on the track.
Yep.
And everybody behind them are the guys that have to keep making pit stops next 15 down. That's the way it is. And so, man, if you can focus on that, holy cow, that makes, you're talking a huge difference in not only your finishing position, but just your level of enjoyment.
Yeah.
You're on the track.
Yeah, just log laps. Chances are you're going to get a decent finish if you stay on track and minimize your pit stops. And that's all about reliability. Things not breaking.
So if you would like to find out more about this club, again, Doc and I will tell you till the cows come home, volunteer.
Yep.
You can't help but learn the most if you come out and volunteer.
You'll meet the people that run the race.
It's cool. But there's also a mentorship program, which I happen to be one of the mentors, but there's others too. And you can go out and sign up for that on the website and get connected with a mentor, and we can just answer a lot of questions for you, help you get going. But I still would say come out and volunteer. That's an awesome way to find out more about it.
Yeah, Frank points out there's no minimum weight, so that makes for creativity. We like to say we're a builder series. We try and keep the rule book as thin as we can, and it's a challenge. We're going through petitions right now. Racers, we have before the 2022 rule book comes out, racers are encouraged to submit petitions for things they'd like to see changed. And we as a board of directors, we take advice from the technical advisory committee on, we think that's a good change. And so we vote on it. And we ask for member feedback as well. So, and we're currently going through those right now. And there's a lot of, I'm going to say, spirited debate. I've changed my position after listening to my fellow board of directors about what they see, and it's like, oh, I didn't even think of that. So How come Virginia Tech has been so difficult to follow via scoreboard? Kevin, we're having, for some reason, the scroll is not picking up the, it goes to lap 20, or car that's in position 22 and then stops and starts scrolling back up. We don't quite know why that's happening, but if you go on racehero.io, you can look at the whole field. And it's just because Virginia Tech, they've had some problems that they've continued to solve. They are currently running in 24th before you remove the EC cars in front of them. And I believe there's 4 EC cars in front of them. So they're actually in... hang on, I lost them. They're actually running in 20th place. But the EC cars aren't separated out until the official results are posted. So, but racehero.io has the entire field listed. So, yeah, Kevin, that's exactly why you're not seeing they're below 23rd, because, like I said, the EC cars haven't been taken out of the running, as it were.
So the OAO Racing team in number 585 has pitted out of the top 6.
Those cars have run nose to tail for a lot of this race. The 585 has actually caught ADD racing on the same lap as them. Their sister car, the 575, is on lap 299. So they've been running pretty close. They're identically prepared Mazda Miata MX-5s. And those, I believe they run those in the MX-5 Cup.
Yeah, here's what that Race Hero website looks like. And so you can see Virginia is in the pits again, not turning laps, down in 24th right there.
Looks like they're still dealing with the front end of that car.
Yeah.
They're not taking fuel because nobody's suited up.
Yeah, they're down there at that right front corner that they've been having trouble with today.
I already got some, thanks. I had to unplug the comms because the battery started beeping.
So,
I just unplugged it.
technical difficulties.
It's always something.
Yeah. Zip Tide is doing a driver change. So they'll plug a new driver in, send them out for some fun. Do some laps out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Looks like the pointed end of the stick is getting a little closer. That D-Class Mercury Capri is able to do 201.8s, whereas RVA is backed off to a 208.666. Ooh, I want to change that.
You think the rain messed them up pretty good? It does play a role. It does change things. One more stop. Frank's calling for RVA. Sounds logical. Here come the cars through 15. Freddie Mercury's stuck in third gear, by the way.
Oh.
They only have one gear most of the day.
We heard they were having problems with their gearbox earlier.
Maybe that's why they're not using so much fuel.
Could be.
I don't know.
Well, they're chasing down a very formidable competitor. RVA Graphics and Wrap is this is a relatively new build for them, but those guys have won 2 national championships with Champ Car.
Yeah.
So they know how to build a car. And somebody was asking if they wrap anything else besides buses. Why, yes, they do. They're our official supplier. They'll do a hood wrap, I think, for a fairly reasonable cost. And you'll see them. You can order our number panels through them, the windshield banner, our class designation letters. So they produce our sponsor panels, and they produce our. They used to produce our event decals. So, but I don't believe they do that anymore.
Yeah, I've even used them just to make some stripes for me, different things.
Yeah.
Very affordable and very quick. It looks like we might be forecasting some weather moving into Charlotte here shortly.
Great. You hate to pack up wet stuff because when you get home,
it's awful.
Instead of working on the car, you're working on drying things out.
So we'll see. That's by 10:20. The forecast by 10:20 shows the weather getting closer and closer.
Maybe it'll just magically disappear.
It might. Just over 2 hours remain in the race. So almost 12 hours of racing completed. And you've got Virginia Tech out there turning laps. You've got Zip Tide pulling laps as well. So top 15 cars are all out there turning laps. Forget and Roadkill Zombies are shown not turning laps in 16th and 17th. And then you've got Laps of Honor. Zip Tide was shown in the pits, but they've just left the pits. Laps of Honor shown in the pits.
I think RVA Graphics and Freddie Mercury are next to each other on the track because both their timing, they both trip the timing loops about the same time. And they're also pretty evenly matched in lap times. 204.731 for RVA and Freddie Mercury just turned a 203.061. It's about show and tell time here.
Yeah. I don't really see a dry line. In fact, I just saw a drop of rain. I see some rain actually on the camera. So I don't think this track is really dried out as much as it's just not
the
puddled.
humidity is so high.
I think that was
It's
the Dodge
a muggy
start.
southern night.
Yeah. On board with the Dart. I think this is his out lap. So this is his first lap out. Headed down the front straightaway here. Going into turn one, into the infield. And NASCAR started racing this infield part of the track too now.
Yep. In fact, Champ Car was the test mule, as it were, for this infield configuration. When we raced here the first time, they were out there adjusting the lights during our race. for television.
Glad we could help.
Yeah. Yeah, they owe us big time. And of course, we have several NASCAR members that race in Champ Car. Drew Nab, of course, has done a bunch of tech videos with Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, he works for one of the major NASCAR teams. He's one of the engineers. And we've got a lot of engineers. I think because we are kind of a builder series, it tends to attract engineers to come out and play and exercise, their talents, which if you don't know much about engineers, they tend to get pigeonholed a lot in their careers.
Yeah.
And they can't really be as creative as the talent they have would allow them to be, so they can engage in things like this and really, explore.
Yeah, that NASCAR rule book is pretty thick.
Yeah. But I'm just talking about the average guy that comes out here, not necessarily somebody that works for NASCAR. Most of the teams have at least one engineer, it seems like, and some are all engineers.
Oh, they got a bunch more than one.
Yeah. I said most have at least. And I mean, it's very common.
Can't swing a dead cat and not hit an engineer.
Oh, yeah.
That works for a NASCAR team.
That's why I was joking at the last race. I said, with all the engineers we have in this series, we could get some of these guys to put their heads together and build us an easy up that doesn't blow away.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear what you said, Paulie.
Oh, I was just talking about, I said at the last race we should get some of these engineers together, put their heads together, and come up with an easy up that doesn't blow away. Because all the canopies got blown off of the track. We lost like 100 canopies last weekend.
I'll see if I can get Jimmy to send you the videos he showed me, and we'll play them at the next race.
Yeah.
Broadcast.
If I could get
amazing.
if I could get a video of it, I could put it to music and we could have a lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah. I'll get my best man on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Jimmy's great.
He is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's nothing like me. He's a great guy. All right. Freddie Mercury just turned a 203 to RVA Graphics 208. So continuing to chop into that lead as the Mercury is now able to really get the tires underneath the car. Oh, Bill's... Oh, brake pads? What brake pads? That is something that's unique to endurance racing, is the brakes that we select. But it's... honestly, it's pretty well vetted. We've been pounding around these cars for 10 years, and we kind of know now what pads to go with on which cars. All you got to do is get in cahoots with the teams in that area, Miatas or BMWs or whatever, and you'll find out real quick what works.
Yeah, most of the BMWs run PFC 08s, and I believe one of their lead engineers just passed away. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Back on board with North by Northeast. Top of the hour here, Doc. You want to take us out?
Absolutely. Hang in there, folks. We're going to pay some bills by running a few commercials. They're very short, so you're watching the Racing Radio's Charlotte 14-hour race here at beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway, here on ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone in the Champ Car Endurance Series. So hang in there, folks. We'll be right back.
An important decision is afoot. This man is about to buy tires on TireRack.com. Tire Rack is the leading online retailer of tires in North America and a repository of advice and expert reviews. And it's done! All that's left is to arrange for safe, easy installation at one of our independent recommended installers. Well, I guess he did that too. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Come on, Road. Do your worst. We'll be at our best. Engineered to meet or exceed original equipment performance exclusively at AutoZone.
Located in Northeast Ohio with 40 years of combined experience, Money Shift Racing knows how to deliver performance and safety, offering everything you need to get your vehicle and drivers ready for race day. From safety equipment to full engine assembly and repair, in-house fabrication, 3D design, and rapid prototyping. Money Shift Racing. Performance done right.
Frozen rotors from Diversified Cryogenics deliver increased performance and a higher level of safety, while significantly reducing braking system costs.
So to tell you a little bit about the durability of this product. So we have seen an incredible extension of the life of our brake rotors using frozen rotors. We've gone from brake rotors every other weekend to 6 weekends on one set of brake rotors, and I think they can go farther. The durability has been amazing. And it's been a fantastic season, and man, a lot of that is due to the way our car can brake on those frozen rotors.
For more information, go to frozenrotors.com.
Lifeline USA is a leading manufacturer of onboard fire suppression systems. Lifeline's continuous commitment to research and development ensures that we supply the most innovative and cutting-edge products available. Used by the majority of the world's motorsport championship-winning teams and constructors, Lifeline has a proven history of success. Lifeline offers a complete range of fire suppression systems for all budgets and needs, and we continue to push development and limits on both extinguishment materials and our patented delivery systems to make the race car environment almost as safe as sitting on your sofa at home. Every kit has been designed for a professional and simple installation. For more information and to purchase your ChampCar fire suppression system, go to www.lifeline-fire.com.
Come on, Road. Do your worst. We'll be at our best. Triple tested to meet or exceed original equipment performance exclusively at AutoZone.
And welcome back, everyone, to ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone. And we're working on that RVA Graphics and Wraps camera. We're going to get that. We're going to try and reset that. Bill's going to try and reset that when they come in. So he's waiting on that. Virginia Tech.
You want to go back? Okay.
Looks like they're plugging the driver in, maybe rebelting him. So that YouTube has this 11-hour and 55-minute limitation on the DVR for a live stream. So what's going to happen is it's going to get clipped right here, and I will actually, it was back a little bit ago because we started the stream 20 minutes early. But what I do is I'll go in and create a part 1 and part 2, because you'll miss, if you go back to try and review this, the last 2 hours are cut. So I will create a part 2, and I'll label them 1 of 2, 2 of 2, and publish it. So it will be on our YouTube channel, but this one will be under the live, and the other one will be like a recorded, uploaded video. But we have playlists, so I'll have them both categorized in the 2021 Champ Car Endurance Series race playlist. So when we conclude the race, you won't see the last 2 hours, but I will get it published. So thanks for joining us, everyone, here on Champ Car Live, presented by AutoZone. I'm Paul Veltum. We've got Doc Waldrop and Bill Strong calling the race for you this weekend. And the leader, RVA Graphics and Wraps, has come into the pits. And that should allow Freddie
their
Mercury
final stop.
This should be their final stop, right. So Freddie Mercury should retake the lead here. 325 laps turned. Just under 2 hours of racing remain in the race. This 14-hour race, so it's checkers at 11 o'clock. And Virginia Tech getting ready to head back out.
Freddie Mercury's going to have to stop again.
Yeah.
They last pitted on lap.
Good. Turn the key. Punch in.
Oh, the air handlers came on in the media center. It sounded like it was pouring outside.
Whoops.
So Timothy was saying, he says he loves the Scirocco at the end of the Frozen Rotors ad. He used to race one like that. I had a second generation Scirocco, and I love that car. I was working for VW Porsche magazine, so every Scirocco part that came into the magazine to evaluate was put on my car. That thing would fly.
Cool.
Unfortunately, I lost that car. Well, actually, I know right where it is. I just don't have it anymore. But I used to drive the Scirocco from Dallas to LA twice a month. That was when magazines were the final proof before you went to press on it, went to print, was called a blue line.
Okay.
So I used to go approve the layouts and help them with the layouts and stuff. So I was talking to my dad, and I was out in California, and I said, I think I want to take a different route back to Dallas. I think I want to go I-40. He says, I don't know. It's supposed to snow on I-40. And I said, we'll be fine. Well, a truck took me off the road there, and I barrel rode that car 4 times. And that was pretty much the end of the Scirocco.
It seems like of the few good friends that I have, they all have a story like that, where they got tossed out of a car, destroyed a car they really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but...
Well, when I was in the Navy, I had a 70 GTO that I bought brand new, 16 years old. And
wow, you had a new car at 16.
So I got my orders. I joined the Navy, got my orders, and it said Sea Duty, San Diego, Miramar, Fighter Town. And I went, I don't want to take this thirsty beast out on the West Coast. That was during the gas crisis.
Yeah.
So I sold it to my brother, and I told him, I said, look, I've done a lot of work to this car. It's a lot faster than you're used to, because he had driven it a couple of times. And unfortunately, my brother totaled that car and about 50 bicycles.
Wow. 50 bicycles.
He knocked a brick wall down about 2 stories onto the bike parking at LSU.
Wow.
And that was the end of the GTO. Actually, my cousin bought the GTO, painted it white, so he got it back running again, but, it's never the same. And my cousin I had bought that Scirocco from, so. Anyway, that's part of my story. Sad and poignant tale of lost love.
Yes.
I had a blast in that GTO. My buddy Mike Birch, a.k.a. Fish, the same guy that owned that push-button car. He and I had some good times in that GTO. Bought my first car after basic training in 02 Neon. My parents used all my money. Yeah, that Scirocco, mine was I want to say in '83, I believe. It was it was Trick. I had actually I can send Polly a picture of it. Would you like to see a picture of my old Scirocco?
Yeah. Bill went to the trouble to reset that camera in the RBA car, and it worked for about 3 minutes, and then it went back down just as they were leaving the pits. It's like, oh man. So we tried.
I had the preface this. My Scirocco had the rear window louvers, and it was the Scirocco designed by Pininfarina, and had a front bra on it and stuff like that. So it was a cool car. Really, the interior was laid out well.
And maximum effort has gotten around RVA, but it's really academic. And once they stop, they're going to get right back in front of them. I think RVA is the leader of this race effectively. JEA is going to be right there in fourth place, leading A class in their Miata.
Okay, so that's one car, one picture sent to you, Polly. Parked at the Grand Canyon. I used to time my trips to LA, so I'd hit the Grand Canyon at dawn. And I'd try to hit Albuquerque at night, because dropping in on Albuquerque at night is just beautiful. The whole city's laid out in front of you. So, and there's the other picture. This is right before the car was totaled, actually.
That's a great picture. I'll have to show everybody. That's a great picture, but I'm not going to show anybody. I'll show you guys.
Oh, come on.
That'd be funny. That guy's a jerk.
You're so mean to me, Paulie.
No, I was talking about all of our viewers. I mean, you and I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. Yeah, it's great. All right, back to the race. Wait a minute. That's cool. I like the background there and all that, too. It's a neat-looking ride.
I can't see him. I was on the YouTube.
Oh, you were looking at YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, you should see it come up then, right? In delay.
Well, that's true. I can switch back to that.
You got one that's got the
yeah,
snow
that's the
on
Grand Canyon shot. And the next shot, like I said, you can see the stickers on the back of the car.
Oh, yeah. I got the camel and the IMSA.
Yep. And the Roadshow license plate frame.
Yeah. So this is when you were, how old were you when you had this thing? This was young?
Oh, that was about, let's see, I lived in LA and Dallas in the late 80s.
Okay.
When Six Flags bought Magic Mountain, we were a contractor for Six Flags. And so there you see the Camel GT sticker and the IMSA sticker and Toy for Doc. That was a fun car.
But you would have been in your 20s, right?
No. I was in my 30s.
So you were already working photography.
Yeah. I was on the IMSA circuit for about 10 years until everybody went digital. And I'm a kind of an adrenaline junkie, so digital didn't do anything for me, as it were. After a Camel GT race, I pulled press passes out of National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki. And so you'd find go to the post office at the airport and get them out, get 2 rolls of undeveloped film and you send them to Chris Economaki. And use Sharpies back then. You'd mark the canister that, okay, I know.
Oh no,
I got the
we're headed
first
to the
one.
wall. Oh, he stopped it just in time. He did not hit the wall. But you were talking about Chris sending those.
Yeah, so you'd get a phone call from Chris. Great shots, Doc. Do you happen to have the GTO winner? It's like, yeah, I do. I thought he was on that roll. No, he's not. So, dang it. You never wanted to get the call from Chris that he didn't have something he could use.
All right, he's going to back up here just to get the car turned around. I think he's okay doing this. Get going here.
Yeah, you don't want to back up too far.
No. All right. Hart's probably going a million miles a second there, but he did get her woed up. And did not make contact again with that tire wall.
Yeah, he's probably seen enough of that tire wall today.
I don't think it was necessarily him. The car's seen enough of that tire wall.
Of course, we saw an RX-7 spun right in front of him. He managed to avoid it, just barely tapped the wall.
Yeah.
And you're carrying a fair amount of speed through there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for letting me walk down memory lane.
Oh, it's always fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I think the viewers love it too.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't they, right?
Exactly. So you see the AOA cars have finally been split up by ADD Racing. And their 92 BMW 325, that would also be an E36. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the track dry out before this race ends. It's pretty high humidity out there. And there's not much wind to speak of.
Fair enough. Your car is in the pits doing a driver change and fuel, Doc.
Alrighty. We've got a 20-place car on the 20 laps on the car right behind us, and we're 8 laps behind the car in front of us, so
not much danger.
Chances
there.
are we're going to finish in about 13th place.
Okay.
Actually in 12th place. There's an EC car in front of us.
Not bad.
The RVA Graphics car has slipped to 3rd place with that stop. But Freddie Mercury, we know, has to come in. Let me see about maximum effort. Oh, they got to come in. They've been out for quite some time now. They last pitted on lap 225? No, 276. And we're now working on lap 331. So they're going to have to stop again as well.
All right, Virginia Tech here, trying to get into his pit box.
Looks like he's got to find reverse.
I think he might have overshot it a little bit. Yeah.
Couldn't see if there was a car pitted in back of him. He's just going to sit right here. He hasn't killed electrical, so.
So he overshot the pits a little bit, and the word is they told him you can't drive backwards, but they can push you backwards.
Yeah.
So you got to be
Hence
careful.
Backup Barry's nickname. So good heads up by his team, informing him that he couldn't back up.
Yeah.
So you see him kill switch.
They're going to work on that front end again, so they're still not happy with what's going on up front there. And the Brew Crew machine heads back out on the racetrack. Doc's car.
Excellent. Good to hear.
And he's giving the point by to a car behind as they're on the straight, or on the coming around the banking there.
Try and find out who's behind the wheel now.
Probably Lee, right?
Billy sent me a message. I always thought Doc took the wrong turn to Albuquerque. You are correct. And if you don't get the reference, that's a Bugs Bunny line.
Yeah. Should have taken that left turn.
There.
You should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't have. I guess that's what. I shouldn't have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
So I actually did I was technical producer for the Hollywood Walk of Fame for years, and I actually gave Mel Blanc his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And it was cool. They rented C.C. Brown's, which is a famous ice cream shop next to Grauman's Chinese Theater, and they gave all the kids free sundaes that day. And I have a poster, and it's Bugs Bunny, and he says, "What's up, Doc?" And I didn't have the presence of mind to get him to sign it. And he passed away a couple of years later, so.
Yeah, I think that tubing does sweep around the right side on the Honda. In fact, I still have those pictures I'll bring up here for you. You can see how it's set up here. So I don't know. They've got a couple of elbows they're playing with there, and where that goes. Oh, there's an air filter right here. No, maybe not.
No, that's a headlight.
Yeah. Hair filter, headlight, whatever.
Potato.
Yeah. If you're going to split hairs.
No, I just know something about lighting instruments, Molly.
Yeah, that's actually not an air filter, that's a headlight, but okay.
I don't correct you much.
No, you probably should more.
Never. You're the wind beneath our wings.
All right, Zip Tide having a little trouble here. They're on the racetrack and almost stopped. I'm not sure what's going on here. This is actually kind of dangerous, so you really need to keep their speed up.
Okay, Arjun's in our car right now, driving.
Okay.
Turning in some pretty good lap times. The last lap was a 209.950. Leaders are only doing a 207.395, so.
I tell you, when a car is working good in the rain, it's so exciting.
Yeah, Arjun
great.
and I went and, visited my team, and Arjun says, I said, "Man, that was a great stint." I said, "You were 10 seconds faster." He said, "Did y'all talk about it on the broadcast?" It's like, "Yes, we did."
Jeez.
You always got to stroke their egos,
Drivers. What are you going to do?
Yes, you're a good boy.
We all talked about your dress, and everybody said it was pretty.
Yeah, your hair's pretty. I hope you win.
Okay.
And he was doing that, he said, without windshield wipers and without fourth gear, so.
Yeah, nobody likes
pretty
to show
impressive.
off. Yeah. So I always tell him, Arjun, nobody likes to show off.
I got to admit, he cuts a pretty dashing figure in his driving suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some kind of a vibration or a wobble here in the Virginia Tech car. Yeah.
You see Stug Racing just in front of him on the low line. And that's really where Virginia Tech should be.
Yeah, he may not know, or I think that other car was coming up on him.
Right.
But a slower car, you should stay down on the inside line.
Yeah, at Daytona they tell you that specifically. That you pass to the driver's right.
He's actually riding the rim. He's up at the top of the track.
Yeah, I don't know if I was having problems with the car. I always like, they talk to the NASCAR guys. They're like, why are you riding up near the wall? He says, less room. If I hit it, it's not so far. You don't quite hit it as hard.
Yeah.
You can't argue with logic like that.
You can't argue with logic like that.
Well, I mean, you can't.
This is true.
Running out of gas here a little bit.
Yeah, I've got an hour and 30 minutes of racing remaining here. It's Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've got the Virginia Tech team here with us this weekend. And a lot of people enjoying that.
Still logging laps. And we thank them for the SFI viewers. Understand there's a lot of them watching our broadcasts.
Ziptide is coming into the pits. Looks like they did a driver change, too. The guy in the white suit just jumped back out, and the guy in the black suit's getting in.
Oh, yeah. I'm just tucking that. Looks like 3-inch wide belts. So they're a little tougher to make sure that you connect good with the Hans. Make sure that belt is inside that little raised part of your Hans. Because without those belts going over that shoulder and catching the Hans, that Hans does no good at all. And of course at pit out they kind of give that a cursory check to make sure your belts are over. Make sure your window net's up.
Right.
Look like he's going back out.
Light the candle. Fire in the hole. Here we go.
Yep.
Virginia Tech. Back in the pits. These guys have to be exhausted.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
There's a lot of them.
If you think you guys are tired of hearing us talk, can you imagine how tired these guys have been out in the rain working all day?
Yeah, we got our phony baloney jobs here.
North by Northeast coming into pit as well. This is as good a time as any to break for commercial. Mr. Waldrop, would you like to take us out?
Absolutely, sir. You are watching ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Racing Radio's Charlotte 14 Hour. Hang with us, folks. We only got an hour and a half to go. Surely, if you've made it this far, you can make it a little bit further. Sorry about calling you Shirley there.
An important decision is afoot. This man is about to buy tires on TireRack.com. Tire Rack is the leading online retailer of tires in North America and a repository of advice and expert reviews. And it's done! All that's left is to arrange for safe, easy installation at one of our independent recommended installers. Well, I guess he did that too. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Come on, Road. Do your worst. We'll be at our best. Engineered to meet or exceed original equipment performance exclusively at AutoZone.
Located in Northeast Ohio with 40 years of combined experience, Money Shift Racing knows how to deliver performance and safety, offering everything you need to get your vehicle and drivers ready for race day. From safety equipment to full engine assembly and repair, in-house fabrication, 3D design, and rapid prototyping. Money Shift Racing. Performance done right.
Frozen rotors from Diversified Cryogenics deliver increased performance and a higher level of safety, while significantly reducing braking system costs.
So to tell you a little bit about the durability of this product. So we have seen an incredible extension of the life of our brake rotors using frozen rotors. We've gone from brake rotors every other weekend to 6 weekends on one set of brake rotors, and I think they can go farther. The durability has been amazing. And it's been a fantastic season, and man, a lot of that is due to the way our car can brake on those frozen rotors.
For more information, go to frozenrotors.com.
Lifeline USA is a leading manufacturer of onboard fire suppression systems. Lifeline's continuous commitment to research and development ensures that we supply the most innovative and cutting-edge products available. Used by the majority of the world's motorsport championship-winning teams and constructors, Lifeline has a proven history of success. Lifeline offers a complete range of fire suppression systems for all budgets and needs, and we continue to push development and limits on both extinguishment materials and our patented delivery systems to make the race car environment almost as safe as sitting on your sofa at home. Every kit has been designed for a professional and simple installation. For more information and to purchase your ChampCar fire suppression system, go to www.lifeline-fire.com.
Come on, Road. Do your worst. We'll be at our best. Triple tested to meet or exceed original equipment performance exclusively at AutoZone.
All right, welcome back everyone to ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone. It's the Racing Radio's 14-hour Enduro at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Paul Veltum, along with Doc Waldrop and Bill Strong, calling the race for you. So about another hour and a half remaining. Virginia Tech headed down pit road. Looks like they're getting ready to head back out. The Zip Tide team has returned to the racetrack as well. And yes, we do have trucks in the series. We do. Not a lot, but they're out there. In fact, we've got a Jeep truck chassis. It's actually an SC300 Lexus chassis with a like a Grand Cherokee body on top of it. So we do have, in fact, we've got an old truck. Doc, you remember that that old truck we had that ran with us at Indy that first year?
Yeah.
What was that thing?
Oh, that was a 46. I want to say, I'm trying to think of the name of the team.
Yeah, we had this vintage pickup truck racing. It was something like that.
Let's see if I can find him in my documents.
Watch it, Billy. I'll tell you, Doc's, he's on edge. Don't.
Is Billy
say
pushing my
something.
buttons?
Don't say something you're going to regret. Yeah. Billy Slayling, our buddy, he says,
Billy, I thought we were friends.
he said, I always thought Doc took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. I said, whoa. Be careful, son. Be careful. You can see the safer barrier there. It's pretty cool. And different tracks, the safer barrier is different design. We were at Road America last weekend, and it was a very different look to it, and a much lower speed. So they weren't as gapped out as they are there, and it just looked like pink styrofoam in between the two. I don't know what the material is, but it's very different. With a steel, the outside was steel, like a steel sheet. You're about 10 minutes late with that one. Well, what do you expect for free? And that's Seinfeld's joke. It's pretty funny. He's like, you're talking about television series that go off the air. And he says, here you have something that you spend a lot of time on, a lot of money, a lot of talent, and energy goes into producing this thing. And you bring it to people's homes for free. They don't have to pay for it. It's just given to them for free to view. And they say, no, I don't want to see it.
Yeah, somebody.
That's when you know it's not good.
A couple broadcasts ago, somebody was talking about how many commercials we run. And it's like, we run 5 minutes tops every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Watch a NASCAR race. There's a reason it's called, they do side-by-sides now.
Yeah. Yeah, I just run them every half hour, not every 15 minutes like most shows do. So, and I shrink it down into the background so that you can still see the timing and scoring pylon, keep an idea of, if we're still under green and what the scoring is and stuff. So, and again, it's free. So
it's free. What do you want for free?
Well, yeah. I mean, they put up with us, so apparently they're not a very discerning crowd.
For the right dollar figure, I'll quit these broadcasts if you don't want to listen to me. But we're talking big bucks.
You gotta pay this guy off.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
So again,
That's
it's
funny.
docwaldrop@gmail.com.
What was it we were doing? I think it was, I don't remember. It was one of the shows we were doing. I think it was the last one. I was asking people to like the stream, and we have here. And I was watching. It was a much lower number than this, and I was watching it, and it actually, I looked at it, and I looked away, and I looked back a couple minutes later, and it actually dropped. like somebody went back and changed their mind and unliked it.
That's a ringing endorsement if I've ever heard one.
It was so funny. I thought it was great.
So Mr. Ray with WC Auto says it's high compression foam on all the safer barriers, and it can be painted.
Ah, yeah. High compression foam. Okay. I don't know what that is. I know what high density foam.
It's density.
I know what high density foam is, and it's...
Yeah.
And then there's that stuff we use on our roll cages that's very different, very stiff.
Yeah.
We use that for helmet strikes.
Right.
And that just you know, when you have it in your hands, it's just like, well, this is just a brick of rubber that's hard. It doesn't do anything. But obviously, when you strike it with your helmet, it's going to be very different. That pool noodle stuff that we typically use, you don't want to use that in the helmet zone.
It's not pool noodles.
I know it isn't, but
colored foam.
It has the consistency. That stuff.
It's a little tougher than pool noodles.
Well, okay. And
No,
it's
it really
fire
is.
retardant. And it's fire retardant. It's the proper stuff.
Yes.
But you wouldn't want to use that in the strike zone of your helmets. But
Todd Kuhr, Kuhar, says, "Go, Freddy, go." Unfortunately,
Mark, take back the thumbs up.
One of these days, buddy.
Us older viewers get confused on liking things.
Watch it. Who are you talking about there, Timothy?
Oh, shoot. It's good.
I'm having the best time of my life. Are you kidding?
I can't imagine how you wouldn't. You're hanging out with me.
I know.
What's not to love? That's what I ask. I ask my wife that all the time. What's not to love? She loves it. Saferberry wasn't very effective against the carts. Yeah, I'm sure, it's probably would need a completely different design for such a light vehicle. Whole different deal. But I'm not an engineer. I know a lot of them, and I play one on TV, but I'm not one.
You're the wind beneath our wings.
I play a producer on TV. That's what I do.
And you do a damn good job at it, too.
Well, thank you, sir.
I wouldn't work with anybody else.
I don't know why that made me laugh.
Unless they have a larger check.
Well, you're the best analyst and commentator I could ever hope for. So, I mean, without you, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be stuck
So
with
I've
Bill.
upgraded from additional announcer?
Yes, we can upgrade you from additional announcer to race analyst specialist. We need a really good title for you. Maybe you guys can help us out online. We need a really good title for Doc.
Keep it clean, folks.
Yeah, it needs to be clean, but it needs like a technical, something that really...
The more words, the more I get paid. So be creative.
Yeah. I'm thinking of things like specialist, because that's a great broad term that gets overused these days.
Consultant.
Engineer. What's the... Yeah.
What about consultant, Paulie?
Consultant. I don't know.
They
how
make
that
the
works.
really big bucks.
But, your role here as the broadcast color commentator, you're a color commentator and an analyst. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm analyzing. I should be analyzed. Actually, we just don't have that much time. Our races aren't long enough.
My mother's decided that when she dies, she wants to give her body to science. And so she dies and then they take the body.
Right.
And she just found out recently, they may not take the body. And she's like, why? Why would you want the body? It's like, well, Mom, it is voluntary. Maybe they don't want You don't necessarily have to take it. That's so funny. Yeah.
I always like the idea that when you die and, you want to get there totally worn out.
Right.
Nothing works anymore.
Right. You're completely spent.
Yep.
But then
when you get to the pearly gates, you go, wow, what a ride.
Well, my mom has always maintained that when she dies on her tombstone, she wants it to say, see, I told you I was sick.
They found W.C. Fields on his deathbed, and he was reading the Bible. And they said, you've never read the Bible. What are you doing now? He says, looking for loopholes.
Loopholes. Silly people.
W.C. Fields had some great quotes. The other one, he said, my mother used to say to me, son, you're going to drown in a vat of whiskey. And he said, oh, sweet death, where's thy sting?
Now, wasn't he around the same time that Mark Twain was?
No, Mark Twain was
he previous?
About 25 years earlier, probably.
Those two would have been an incredible pair.
Yeah. The other guy I love is Will Rogers. I'll have to research some Will Rogers. I like what Will Rogers said in the Grapes of Wrath in the Great Depression. He said all the Okies moved to California and raised the IQ of both states. Will Rogers was another famous wit. I watched a biography on Mark Twain the other day, a 2-part biography that's pretty fascinating.
PFI is saying again, thanks for the broadcast. They've enjoyed the day. And you're welcome. And it looks like the car is dead. He's out of power here on the back stretch. Up on the banking there. It's, again, probably because of that tube. He really needs to roll down onto the apron there and get off the bank.
Yeah.
Again, this is just a lack of experience. He just doesn't know any different. But because he's not up to speed, the safe thing to do in this case is to pull down to the left, to pull down under that line, and just kind of cruise around down there. Looks like he's made it back to the pits, though.
Why, yes, he has. Relatively unscathed.
Yep. Yeah, we hope to see you guys back in the series again, too. Thanks for coming out to the broadcast and getting a taste for what it's all about and supporting your friends at Virginia Tech. So thanks for riding along. And Brew Crew is behind in the garage again.
Aye. Well, we've got about 20 laps on the car behind us, so we can afford to stop. And the car we're chasing, the Stug, which is that former John Allen Special E30, is about, 9 laps in front of us, so there's no real chance of catching him. So if something's wrong with the car, we might as well park it and see if we can fix it.
So I guess it just brings up, I guess Virginia Tech was up towards the top of the track, and that's when the car kind of died, so they had to cut across the track to get down lower. And there was another car coming, and it was just all scary. So again, it just highlights the point. Even if you're a quicker car, you should stay down low unless you're passing.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know if someone's rounding through there.
Number one, it's a shorter way around the track.
Yeah. And then if the car does, if you've lost power for some reason, then you do want to dip down underneath the track and stay on the apron down there on these ovals.
So Timothy Elliott said he added another famous pundit, Groucho Marx.
Yeah, the sarcasm, yeah.
I love watching the Marx Brothers' old movies, slapstick humor.
Yeah, and some of his interviews.
Yeah.
Groucho with, people like Carson and some of these interviews. He's pretty funny.
Right.
Guy.
Most of them were non-repeatable on air.
Yeah.
I can't help but think of I can't go there.
Just save it. So, looking underneath the car there, the Brew Crew machine. Now, they still have about an hour left. So, they're actually jacking up jacking up on the diff. Those are back in the back of the car is going up.
Sounds like you're going to take another look at the exhaust, possibly.
Could be. This is why renting that garage space is so helpful. It makes it so much easier to work on the car.
and they're relatively cheap. I know we only had about maybe, I don't know, 10 garages rented, and they went fast yesterday when teams were registering. It was like, yeah, you have any garages left open? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with that rain.
Yeah.
Who wants to be outside working in the rain?
It's miserable working on a car in the rain. Not that I've ever done it, but I've heard people talk. People talk, you hear things.
People talk, you hear things.
Oh, it's absolutely miserable. And then you can't find your 10 millimeter.
It's always something, isn't it?
Yep. So I would expect to see Freddie Mercury in fairly soon. They last pitted on lap 295, and they can go. We're on lap 345, so we heard they can do about 50 laps, I believe. I don't know. That was a long time ago. Seems like years ago. So you're gonna have to pit here fairly soon. And that will turn the lead over to RVA Graphics and Wraps. I don't believe Justin is here at the track, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say RVA Graphics and Wraps wins this race.
You're so mean. So the running joke, folks, is that Justin is the team, kind of like the team owner, right?
Yeah.
And when he's at the racetrack, they don't win, but when he doesn't show up for some reason, those are the races that they win.
Yeah. So I know Bill always jokes about him with that. And we were working the 24-hour race, I think, 2 years ago. And I don't walk very fast anymore. And there was this big dually behind me. And, I mean, just following me. And I moved out of his way, and he moved with me and stuff. And I was trying to wave him by. And I looked behind the wheel, and it's Justin. He's got this big old grin on his face. Picking on us old folks.
That's love right there.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's brotherly love.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. He is such a funny guy.
Yeah, his interviews are great.
Yeah. Him and Bill together, it's just...
Oh, yeah.
It's a riot. Oh, my gosh. Following Zip Tie, which is obviously a play on the zip ties that get used a lot to put things together when you're trying to just hold them together temporarily.
We've seen people use them to stitch fenders on.
Oh, yeah.
There's a billion uses for zip ties, and by God, we're trying them all.
We're going to ride that train, baby.
Yes, sir.
Shoot.
Yeah, when those things go on sale at Harbor Freight, I'm all over them. I bet you we have, I'm going to guess, probably 500 zip ties in our toolbox and in our trailer. The other thing I can't resist, you put bungee cords on sale, I'm all over them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bungee cords and zip ties.
Yeah. Back when we had our old trailer, everything was bungee corded in its certain place. Now that we have our big trailer, it's already pretty full. That pit cart that we have, it takes up a lot of room, but everything we need in the pit rides on it, so it's only one trip versus a whole long list.
Going on board with North by Northeast. because we don't have a lot of in-car camera choices to pick from. So we're going to pick on these guys.
They're running pretty good in 10th place, I believe. And they are on the same lap as that EC car, lap 320. About 28 laps down to the leaders. So all these teams are hoping the rain holds off because you don't want to pack up when it's pouring rain.
Yeah,
it's
no kidding.
miserable.
Just waiting
Especially
for
if you didn't
Mercury.
get a decent finish.
Yeah.
But normally you'd see most of the teams, you know, chances are 90% of the fields made their last pit stop, so you start packing up so you can get out of here.
Sure.
But when things are wet, it takes forever. And then when you get home, you got to take everything out that got wet so it doesn't mildew. Like Bill's story when he packed up in Utah, drove back home, he didn't take the car out. He just opened up his trailer not too long ago, and he said it was like a botany experiment in there. I know the worst thing I found in our trailer is we have a snack bag, you know, a snack box, as it were, and somebody had stuck 3 bananas in that box. And then we parked the trailer for like 2 months out in the hot sun, Georgia sun, summer. Oh, that trailer stunk. They were like little black pools of bananas.
Yeah, Timothy, they're not running Flagtronics this weekend.
Nah.
And I would say probably a big part of that is because it's such a new technology that when we do run it, we want to have James out here supporting it.
Timothy says, I've done some of my best work with zip ties.
A true sign of your creativity.
Allison, she said, I bet the fruit flies were terrible. Actually, there were no fruit flies that I saw. It was just a gelled mess.
Even the fruit flies
Couldn't
want any
stand
part
it.
of it. This guy's disgusting.
So Mr. Ray is asking, how many cars are on the track now compared to the start? I can find out how many are running. Doctor Control.
The attrition rate in Champ Car is anywhere
How many cars
from
are still circulating out on the track?
depends on the race, but like on a 24-hour race, we can start with 80 cars and end up with 30 at the end.
Alrighty.
So it can be quite high.
So I know at the VIR South race, we had a huge attrition.
Yeah, it's interesting how some races have a lot more attrition than others. This one I don't think is going to be as bad as you might think because we didn't really start with that many. So I think we did pretty well.
So Allison said, hey, we have 19 cars.
There you go.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
So I think we started with like 26.
Yeah, so not bad attrition at all.
7 cars, yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, and I think the rain probably had something to do with that. Guys weren't pushing their cars as hard. So
Yeah.
Timothy's asking, when do we start Flagtronics officially? To tell you the truth, it was going to be next year, and I believe it's still on for next year.
But if we don't tell you the truth,
Yeah.
it would be tomorrow.
41386 says, if I ever get my car up, I won't worry about how awesome it looks. Function over form.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you first build them, I call them I use two criteria, distance and speed. So I had a car that looked pretty good, 10 feet, 0 miles an hour. Then it slowly worked its way up to you had to step back further and further. And the car had to get faster and faster so it didn't stay in your field of vision that long.
All right. So it's a good time to break for commercials. So
Sure.
You want to take us out?
Yeah, I'll take us out. You're watching the Racing Radio's Charlotte 14-hour race here on ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone. Hang in there, folks. We only have a little bit less than an hour to go. So clearly you can make it if you've made it this far. Hang with us.
I probably need new tires.
You do.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires
We have so many tires.
and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea.
Sorry.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
I did it. You see how it's...
That's it.
We did it.
You did it. You can do it.
The path to I Did It starts at AutoZone. Get in the zone.
Discovery Parts is a veteran-owned racing and safety equipment company. While we're located inside Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia, Discovery Parts can also be found at the tracks, supporting a number of Champ Car Series events. We take pride in being a reseller of the best of the industry to Champ Car teams and drivers. We know racing, love racing, and look forward to tomorrow to even more racing. Visit us at discoveryparts.com.
Lifeline USA is a leading manufacturer of onboard fire suppression systems. Lifeline's continuous commitment to research and development ensures that we supply the most innovative and cutting-edge products available. Used by the majority of the world's motorsport championship-winning teams and constructors, Lifeline has a proven history of success. Lifeline offers a complete range of fire suppression systems for all budgets and needs, and we continue to push development and limits on both extinguishment materials and our patented delivery systems to make the race car environment almost as safe as sitting on your sofa at home. Every kit has been designed for a professional and simple installation. For more information and to purchase your ChampCar fire suppression system, go to www.lifeline-fire.com.
Located in Northeast Ohio, with 40 years of combined experience, Money Shift Racing knows how to deliver performance and safety, offering everything you need to get your vehicle and drivers ready for race day. From safety equipment to full engine assembly and repair, in-house fabrication, 3D design, and rapid prototyping. Money Shift Racing. Performance done right.
Frozen rotors from Diversified Cryogenics deliver increased performance and a higher level of safety, while significantly reducing braking system costs.
So to tell you a little bit about the durability of this product. So we have seen an incredible extension of the life of our brake rotors using frozen rotors. We've gone from brake rotors every other weekend to 6 weekends on one set of brake rotors, and I think they can go farther. The durability has been amazing. And it's been a fantastic season, and man, a lot of that is due to the way our car can brake on those frozen rotors.
For more information, go to frozenrotors.com.
Come on, Road. Do your worst. We'll be at our best. Stress tested to meet or exceed original equipment performance. Exclusively at AutoZone.
Welcome back, everyone, to ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone. It's the Racing Radio's 14-hour Enduro here on ChampCar.Live. And I'm Paul Veltum, along with Doc Waldrop and Bill Strong, calling the race for you. So I'll give you a race synopsis while I'm still conscious. It started out pretty much similar to what we see now in the very top, talking about RVA Graphics and Wraps and Freddie Mercury. By the way, Freddie Mercury's just gone into the pits, so RVA has retaken the lead of the race. So these two cars have been trading positions throughout the day. The Ford Focus and the Tater's Garage Mustang were into the wall early. At turn 1, Brew Crew Racing lost fourth gear, and they had some wiper issues too, with problems with the wiper motor, with the wiper being lost, and some exhaust issues too later in the race. RVA Graphics and Wraps had a problem with their passenger side door coming loose, and they had to pit a couple of times in order to get that taken care of, eventually using a strap to strap that thing down so it wouldn't come loose anymore. And let's see, the Tater Garage team were into the wall at turn 11 then. So more damage on that Mustang. And when RVA left to come in to take care of that door, they were leading the race. Then Ziptide had been fighting overheat issues throughout the day, and they broke a throttle cable at one point around 5:30. They were able to get the car back out onto the racetrack after getting that repaired. And of course, the VA team, Virginia Tech team, they had issues with a speed sensor. Fogging of the windscreen was a big issue when it was raining. They also had issues with the differential and turbocharge issues. And then they had contact with the wall a couple of times now, and it's been a real hassle. They have to keep coming into the pits to repair the car to send it back out, but they are getting some decent track time. They're back out on the racetrack now, turning laps. So that's a quick rundown of where things are at.
Where things are at is Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yep. Is it still raining? I don't think it's raining, is it,
No.
Doc?
Nope.
It's just wet out.
Yeah, high humidity here. So I see on our chat they're talking about other racing series and shows that broadcast auto racing.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep our eye on the prize here, gang. You're watching ChampCar.Live presented by AutoZone. So don't make me haul in a Bob Varsha into the booth again. I'll do it.
Yeah. I'm an addict, I admit it. I can't help myself. Anything that's broadcast, anything comes up on Facebook and I get notified, boom, I'm watching it. Whatever
Yeah.
it is, some hand-cooked series. Was practicing today and I'm watching it. There's yesterday. They're practicing. And I just think it's, I don't know, it's just fun. I watch the other series too. I mean, not with some kind of evil eye thing. I'm just watching because I'm interested.
Yeah.
So, final hour here, Doc. It is the final
yes,
hour.
it is.
13 hours of racing complete. In the books, baby. Here we are. Virginia Tech out there turning laps. So is Zip Tide. And RVA Graphics and Wraps. So after 354 laps, I think everybody's in for their pit stops up at the top here, most part. You got RVA Graphics and Wraps leading by about a lap over Freddie Mercury. Maximum Effort is in third. JEA Sports is in fourth. And those four teams comprise the lead for each of the four classes, A, B, C, D.
I'm sure that's happened before, but I can't remember.
ADD Racing is in fifth. AOA Racing is in sixth with the 585 car. In seventh, it's Barely Racing. In eighth, it's AOA Racing. In ninth, it's an EC car. So ninth effectively becomes held by Northeast, and Apex Predators rounds out the top 10.
I do want to give a Goodhart a mention. They are a relatively new team. They are leading EC class. Unfortunately, there's not enough EC cars to give them a trophy, but they're having a blast.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Nice people. And that's Tana and Damien with that team. And they're having a blast. So I took a picture of both of them. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
It's the least we can do, right?
It is the least we can do. They're going to have to black flag Zip Tide because of no headlights. So they're going to bring him in and have them look at that. Maybe they can get that fixed and get back out there.
Maybe that's what they've been working on the front of that car on.
Could be.
It's certainly, Charlotte's bright enough. I don't know how the infield looks, but the oval is well lit. So I sent you that picture, Paulie.
All right.
Slack. I think it was Slack. Yeah.
Now wait. Now who's this?
This is the folks with Goodhart Racing.
Okay.
That is Damien, and I assume his wife.
Okay.
And her name is Tana.
Looks like a fine couple there.
Why, yes, it does.
Representing our racers.
And they're awfully friendly people.
That's great.
As is everybody you will meet in Champ Car.
That's why I'm not usually at the track.
Oh, come on, Polly. You're going to start crying in your beer again.
Oh, shoot. That's why they don't fly them
I've heard
anymore.
your made-up sob story enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy just chatted on the radio. He says, I don't think the zip tied folks even knew their lights weren't working because this track's pretty well lit.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the rules. So it's not a matter of that. They need to follow the rules.
You got to have two working red tail lights and 2 working headlights.
Yeah.
You're only allowed a maximum of 4 light sources out the front of the car. But, most of these teams run a 3rd brake light in case you get tagged in the rear quarter panel. It knocks out one of your lights. You've still got 2 working. So you can see the guy crawled into the car. He's checking the circuitry.
Hey, Paulie.
He's got his best man on it. Yeah, Bill, what's up?
Hey, so I'll do interviews recorded, and I'll post them up a little later.
Excellent.
But, because history has told us recently, don't do interviews until after Income is done.
Yeah, especially Chelsea's races.
Oh, my God. Doc. Jesus, Doc.
That was awesome, Doc.
She's got a tough crew.
Yeah, she's writing the letter now.
Is this going to go in my permanent file?
I told you it's a file, not a letter. Yes.
I'm sorry, Chelsea.
That was good.
I really am. I apologize.
She loves you.
Profusely. I will throw myself at your feet the next time I see you.
She loves it.
He's
And
giggling
beg
now, man. You need Chelsea giggle. Don't do that.
Actually, what she's giggling at is she just wants to see me try and get up after I throw myself at her feet.
Well, we know you can't because we've seen it.
Yeah. Hey, I managed to get up and down out of your truck without breaking a hip.
You did, and I'm glad.
So am I. I told the story I face planted at a gas station several months back, and this guy saw me fall. He said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, anytime I fall and don't break a hip, it's a good day." He just laughed.
So, Bill,
yes.
I hate to bring this up, but our start camera just went down. I don't have anything to show the flag at the end.
All right, give me a minute.
I'm sorry.
How long are your arms, Bill?
He's gonna have to walk back down there. You know where it's at. We've been there. You and I both have been down. You got to walk all the way back down there.
But it's clamped to the safer barrier, and it's well inside the wall. But they keep that reinforced chain link fence pretty back a fair amount. You might be able to reach it. Put your best man on it, Bill.
Yeah. No, I think to a degree, I kind of agree with one of the commenters here on our YouTube feed that it crossed my mind too that this wet condition was probably maybe a little more ideal for VT because it does slow everything down a little bit.
Right.
This is a really fast, wicked racetrack. It's got a reputation, so slowing things down is not a bad idea. The contact you've been seeing going into one is actually totally normal, even in the dry. I mean, we have a lot of hits going into one every year. We come out here, I kind of cringe because like, oh man.
Yeah, we haven't had any big ins to it, as it were.
Yeah, we usually have some.
We
cars
haven't had to rearrange the tires.
Right. So there's actually been less, if you can believe it, carnage at this one than normal.
And I can only recall hearing about one car going into the turn 11 that wall.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yes, it's very good. I think that was the Tater car, and they did get back out after that. So I think this has actually been good for the teams, although it's probably not as much fun in some ways. It's also been good for VT. Like was said, it's a tremendous learning experience. And when they go racing in the dry at the next track, I think they're gonna do well. They're gonna take this with them, and it's gonna help them. So
I don't know what races they're doing next.
Yeah, Brew Crew is pulling out of the garage.
Oh, good. As long as they're not going to the trailer.
Yeah, as long as they're not going to the trailer. I'm not sure. What are we doing here, guys? I think they're gonna. I'm not really sure what they're doing.
They probably aren't either. I'm kidding.
Nope.
Oh, kind of running out of gas here.
Well, I understand. And you can bug out anytime.
Nah.
I don't know what you're going to do with yourself.
I've got...
only got 40 minutes left.
We got a lot of cars and folks up here, so they said, don't worry, we'll get you back to Lake Hardwell.
Nice.
And they offered to take me in the tow truck with the trailer, and it's like, look, that won't fit in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So somebody will make sure I get home.
So Bill's going to do some interviews here at the end and record them, and then they'll be published up to our YouTube channel later after the race is called official.
Like I said, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think RVA Graphics and Wraps has the win.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm on a pretty sturdy branch, so I can't afford to fall. So I picked out a nice sturdy one that I climbed out on. And that'll be the first win for that new build.
Yeah, I think the whole track is still soaking wet just from all the humidity.
Yeah.
It's not drying up at all. You can see from this camera shot. I mean, that track is wet. And the dry line just never developed out here.
Nah, the humidity's too high.
Riptide has gone back out, so they got those headlights sorted so they can get back out there. And Virginia Tech's out there turning laps, as you saw. We don't have a camera in the RVA car, but they are motoring right along and looking good for their first win in the new build.
Yep, it looks like they've got the pace to keep the lead. They're turning last lap was a 209.741, whereas Freddie Mercury a 211.201. So that thirsty D-class car.
I think this is the best crowd we've ever had on YouTube. I think it is. I think these guys are the best. I mean, we got the most attentive, most conversational, and the most likes. You know how someone always Johnny Carson always come out and say, oh, this is the best, great audience, great audience tonight. This is the best audience tonight. You guys have been great. Thank you.
We appreciate the chat. Gives us something to react to, as it were.
Yeah, usually by this time, I mean, the chat has pretty much died to nothing, so we appreciate you guys.
So Timothy says, what teaches you how to put power down and learns you car control? It certainly does.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Marquis the Farmer. Cool, a race car. A car race followed by a comedy show. You're not referring to us. We're dead serious all the time.
Yeah.
If you hear any frivolity, you let me know. And I'll word a strongly crafted letter to the producer of the show.
So as you folks have probably seen in the pylon that cycles rather, we got Stedman and family in 22nd, but then behind them, it's Two Broke for This, Tater's Garage, Virginia Tech Grand Touring, Derwig in their Porsche, MHKFS. That's the Kung Fu team and their Pulsar. Looks like they retired that car. Stimulus Racing, my favorite racing team name. Love it. Spare parts.
Todd is asking, RVA has been pitting every 50 laps. Do they need to pit again? I don't believe so. That car will go 2 hours.
I think Virginia Tech has probably been swinging the pits so
Marquita
often.
Farmer was referring to Bill's interviews.
Oh, okay.
That's the comedy show. I would have to agree with you. Well, thanks, Wolf. Fires. Phire is his last name. Same goes for you guys with the great coverage. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So it looks like they're going to do a driver
Tech.
They're going to do a driver change in Virginia Tech. So fresh guy going in a black suit with a white stripe on the arm, which I think is similar to what the other guy had. So I'm not sure you're going to be able to tell the difference. But yep, Apex Predators is in the pits. Brew Crew is shown in the pits, but they looks like they retired the car. They're packed it up. It's actually in the trailer now, and it's going in with Bill's camera. Oh no!
Oh no!
Can you send a message to them, Doc, and ask them to pull that before they because I know once it gets in the trailer like that, it's really hard to get in there. So I don't know if they can get in there. Thank you. So Virginia Tech, here's your driver getting buckled in. And they may have this driver take it to the end. There's only about an hour left, but they might give him a half hour and pull another one, pull him out. So that's great. These guys are getting a lot of track time today. Even with all the trouble they've had, there's a lot of experience there that they've adversity that they've gotten through. Proud of these guys.
So the car we've got a, let's see, 5, 10, plus 2. So that's 17 lap lead on the PhD racing car that's in back of us. That's an A-class.
Yeah.
So I think we're banking on that he can't do 15 laps, so no sense in doing any more damage to our car.
Sure.
We've had our share of problems today.
You know, you pack it up and the car's not wadded up.
Yeah.
So there's some victory in that alone. The car's
and
good.
Our next race is at CMP, so it's a ways off.
Got some time to dollar up.
Yep. Yeah, that's in late June. Now, Arjun's going to race at Watkins Glen, and I'm going up there.
Ah, nice.
So, but he's rented a seat.
Okay. And we don't remember who that's with.
Yeah, he told me. I can't remember.
Oh, they're getting the camera out of your car, so grateful.
Thank you.
Grateful. Yeah.
I'm sure Kate removes our camera, so I'm sure she saw it.
Probably trying to figure out how to get that out of there in the dark. Not sure how Bill got it.
It's a pretty easy mount. It's
usually
it's a lighting clamp, so it's just got a big, basically a very wide thumb screw on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So, and she's used to seeing, because we used to have our camera mounted that way until it burned away. So Kate's a smart girl. She'll figure it out.
I'm just reading through all this stuff that's over on our YouTube feed.
Anybody asking a dumb enough question where I can answer it?
Actually, go take that back to the media center.
Take it back to the media center. Take it back to the media center. They have. Take a video of this.
Oh, PF Speed is on our... See, they replied to our YouTube feed. So they said, we are all so proud of Virginia Tech. They were baptized into racing today. Why, yes, they were. And they've done a great job.
Civilians got our camera and they're walking around the paddock with it. Anything could happen right now, folks. This is Champ Car Unplugged.
There's Rodney, I believe. There's Kate.
You're looking at the YouTube feed. You need to look at the Ring Central stream. It's more
Do we have it on? Is there audio on there?
Well, yeah, it should be. You don't. Well, maybe you don't hear it. Yeah, you might.
No, I don't.
Because of the way I have it set up. Yeah.
So it looks like they're walking the camera up towards me. I'm right behind.
Yeah, they're going to the
registration
media center.
in the media room.
Yeah, he told them to take it to the media center, so that's where it's going.
All righty. We appreciate it. Oh, 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the hour. Guys, stay with us. We got 30 minutes left. Champ Car Live. RBA Graphics and Wraps is the leader. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Stay with us.
I probably need new tires.
You do.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires
We have so many tires.
and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea.
Sorry.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
I did it. Do you see how it's...
That's it.
We did it.
You did it. You can do it.
The path to I did it starts at AutoZone. Get in the zone.
Discovery Parts is a veteran-owned racing and safety equipment company. While we're located inside Atlanta Motorsports Park in Dawsonville, Georgia, Discovery Parts can also be found at the tracks, supporting a number of Champ Car Series events. We take pride in being a reseller of the best of the industry to Champ Car teams and drivers. We know racing, love racing, and look forward to tomorrow to even more racing. Visit us at discoveryparts.com.
Lifeline USA is a leading manufacturer of onboard fire suppression systems. Lifeline's continuous commitment to research and development ensures that we supply the most innovative and cutting-edge products available. Used by the majority of the world's motorsport championship-winning teams and constructors, Lifeline has a proven history of success. Lifeline offers a complete range of fire suppression systems for all budgets and needs, and we continue to push development and limits on both extinguishment materials and our patented delivery systems to make the race car environment almost as safe as sitting on your sofa at home. Every kit has been designed for a professional and simple installation. For more information and to purchase your ChampCar fire suppression system, go to www.lifeline-fire.com.
Located in Northeast Ohio, with 40 years of combined experience, Money Shift Racing knows how to deliver performance and safety, offering everything you need to get your vehicle and drivers ready for race day. From safety equipment to full engine assembly and repair, in-house fabrication, 3D design, and rapid prototyping. Money Shift Racing. Performance done right.
Frozen rotors from Diversified Cryogenics deliver increased performance and a higher level of safety, while significantly reducing braking system costs.
So to tell you a little bit about the durability of this product. So we have seen an incredible extension of the life of our brake rotors using frozen rotors. We've gone from brake rotors every other weekend to 6 weekends on one set of brake rotors, and I think they can go farther. The durability has been amazing. And it's been a fantastic season, and man, a lot of that is due to the way our car can brake on those frozen rotors.
For more information, go to frozenrotors.com.
Come on, Road. Do your worst. We'll be at our best. Stress tested to meet or exceed original equipment performance. Exclusively at AutoZone.
All right, welcome back everyone to Champ Car Live, presented by AutoZone. It is the Racing Radio's 14-hour Enduro at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Paul Veltum, joined by Doc Waldrop and Bill Strong, calling the race for you this weekend, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. My good buddy Doc Waldrop getting his headset on.
Yep.
And we are...
I got a face for a radio.
On board with Virginia Tech. So after 366 laps completed,
we're winding it down.
RVA Graphics and Wraps leads this race over Freddie Mercury. Maximum Effort is third. JEA Motorsports is fourth, and AOA Racing is in fifth.
What about Maximum Effort?
I didn't mention them?
No, you skipped over our third place car.
Oh.
Leading B class.
That they are. And they're racing a 2008
And that's a Mazda Miata.
Yeah.
Not sure why he's running in B class. Most of the Miatas we see are running in A class.
Because
so
it's an 08.
Have an lost my power of words.
I think it's because it's an 08 and the engine displacement would take him up into that class. Yeah, run into that, I think, one other time.
Hey, Bill, if you can hear me, can you send the ChampCar.Live makeup lady to me? I don't know what she can do at this point. But a girl's got to have a dream.
So it's been a pretty interesting race. I don't remember doing a Charlotte race where it was wet the whole time. In fact, I think they've always been dry when I've been.
I believe you are correct,
doing
sir.
These. So,
hell, we had one year where the VIR 24 and the Sebring race were both run in the dry. Unheard of. Oh, that's the antenna for the radio. I'll move that out of your way.
That's all right.
So what they're going to do right now is they're going to send they're going to call out the car numbers for impound, and the leaders of each class, which happen to be our top 4 cars, they're also going to, well, it's going to be a fairly light victory lane. Because normally they'd call the first 3 cars the podium positions, as it were. But since it's the DB and A class winners,
I don't know what they're going to have to call in. They call at least 6, don't they?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They're probably call AOA and ADD.
So they'll be calling down to pit in to let whoever's working pit in, let them know who to separate, and they'll send them down pit lane, and the other cars will be asked to go to the paddock.
Right. They'll just kind of direct them when they come in.
And the impound procedure is you have to open your hood and your trunk and remove all 4 of your wheels.
But you can't jack up your car.
And they'll post the team's tech sheets on the windshield. And the competitors are allowed to look at the cars. They are not allowed to go underneath the cars. And I know one person who hopes victory lane is rather quiet, and that's Chelsea.
Because of the endless ribbing and chiving that we give her for her races being controversial.
Yeah.
But that's not the only reason. Yeah, I think she could use
she could probably use a
race, just
She's raced she's had the last 3 races in a row, and they've all been just a week apart. She's got to send out an email to each team telling them their pit assignments and their garage assignments and that sort of thing. Teams withdrawing from the race, she's got to keep track of those. So she's been a busy young lady.
Yeah, she's got to deal with me for all of the virtual drivers meetings to record all those. And
you're easy to deal with, Polly.
Well,
no calls, please.
Yeah, I send a message out to our internal message board. I say, guys, and invariably I'll be doing a video with one of these bigwigs in Champ Car and like Chelsea, and they'll be messaging her and calling her right during the recording.
It's mostly Bill, too.
It's mostly Bill, yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves.
But yeah, they'll bring the top 5, 6 cars in, and then they'll tell them to put the cars up in the air, take the wheels off, and they'll go through this process of just a quick inspection of the cars, and if there's any protests, and if there aren't, at some point, usually within a half an hour, they'll call the race official, and then that's it.
Yes.
That's the end of it. And we're expecting RVA to cross the finish line here first in about 15 minutes and take the checkered flag as the winner of the race.
We've made it through another one, Polly.
Yes, we have. I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, we're going to take a break.
Yeah, we are.
Our next broadcast will be at Watkins Glen for one of our bigger races of the year. And that's we're not going to do the test day, but we will certainly be on the broadcast for the 8 on Saturday, followed by a 7-hour race on Sunday. And there's, let's see, I could actually look up. I know the race is full, and there's a waiting list for it.
Yeah, that's going to be the Champ Yard Dog, the Salins Champ Yard Dog at the Glen.
And that race, the last time I checked, has 108 cars. So a very full field. Always a popular race with us. It sells out fairly early. Mid-Ohio's already sold out, and that race is until September. So if you're thinking about racing with us, might want to get those cars registered. The Doc used their words. The VIR 24 only has about 17 entries now, but that'll grow. One of our more popular races.
No, I'm not going to have any test day footage. Not unless you weren't talking about this weekend, were you? But no, we wouldn't. We don't really do. We don't set up cameras.
Test day here.
Yeah, we won't set up cameras and do all that. You're probably just joking, but yeah, the camera. Remember that this. We're basically running all this stuff off of hotspots. It's expensive, so we just do the races.
Yeah, Bill tells us how expensive it is all the time.
Yes, he does.
I believe he's mentioned it in passing, right? Every time he passes us, he mentions it.
Yes. And we kiss his ring, and then he moves on.
Yeah, and we genuflect or
I curtsy.
Princess curtsy.
Yeah, I princess curtsy.
I quit kissing the ring. I don't know where he's been.
I don't know where that ring's been.
No, I don't worry about the ring. It's Bill.
Right. Oh, shoot.
So, and on this, when we get the word that it's 1 laps to go, they will ask everybody to keep the radio chatter to a minimum, and each corner will report when the leader passes them. Yeah. So we make sure we checker the correct car. That's a beautiful car. It's RVA graphics and wraps. Well,
yeah,
tells you all you need to know. It's a good-looking car.
So as I mentioned in the chat, YouTube has an 11-hour and 55-minute max on the DVR for a live stream. So
clearly they are not ChampCar.Live.
No,
fans.
they don't know anything about what we're doing. So they clip the tail end of this race, the last 2 hours, so or so. So I make a part 1, part 2, and that will be published up to the YouTube channel for viewing later. You can definitely scroll back and watch the whole beginning, but just the tail of it won't be there until I put it up.
Marquita Farmer says, directions for getting to Watkins Glen. Drive north until you hit Canada, then take a right.
Yeah. I think it was my mom that used to say, to go to Brainerd, you go to the end of the world and turn left. It is a long drive. I'll give her that. It takes forever to get to Brainerd, Minnesota.
And this will be my first time. I've never been to Watkins Glen. Couldn't find anybody to foot the bill to send me. I used to cover the 24 Hours of Daytona for VW Porsche magazine. And then Les Richter, who ran Riverside Raceway, always sent me to Road Atlanta to catch pictures of the latest cars that were running at the Camel GT series. But nobody ever wanted to send me to Watkins Glen.
I love Watkins
Bridgestone
Glen.
Tires sent me to Lime Rock one year. That was fun.
You'll like it. I mean, it's not as grand and as a Daytona, but to walk out to the pits, and if you want to, you walk out to the pit area and look out at the track. When you're standing there, it's just cool. It's a really cool look.
I've got a gentleman, I'll have to look up his name, but he works for the Motorsports Research Institute up there, and he's promised to take me on a tour of the old Grand Prix course when they used to run on the city streets.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I hope the weather is nice for you.
I hope it is too. I could do with a little less rain in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it reaches a point where you really don't need any more of that.
Yeah, Brainerd is legit in the middle of... Oops, sorry, country. I'm not sure exactly what that means.
what's interesting is you get to the track, the ground, and I never noticed this. I grew up around these tracks.
Right.
I didn't notice it until we went back to race here a few years ago, that the ground is impregnated with sand. There's a little bit of, Brainerd is almost at sea level. It's like really low.
Right.
So it's almost, you look down at the grass and you can see sand in between the grass blades.
Right.
It's crazy weird.
So folks are wondering why we don't race at Brainerd anymore, and to tell you the truth, we'd go back, but the car counts continually drop there, so.
Yeah,
but
it's a turn.
I understand management's been in touch with ChampCar, wanting us to come back, and we'd love to come back.
I'd love to go back,
but we need the cars out there.
Yeah, that's really all it is. Be happy to go back out there. We don't have a problem with it. And you know, we run into this problem with other tracks as well. It's just, I don't know what it is. For some reason, we have an incredible draw at the tracks on the east, but at the west, we just have trouble getting people to show up. So there you go. If that changes, we'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll be able to afford to keep going there. They what ChampCar typically does, Doc, it seems like they just kind of dip their toe. They'll go back out, give it a couple of years, go back out, see what happens, and if the number, like you said, the numbers keep going down, it's like, well, how many times do you race on how many times do you run on a track and lose money before you say, okay?
Right.
How many years in a row do you need before you say, okay, we tried to build this, and folks aren't coming out?
I know we got a race coming up at Willow Springs Raceway, and we've lowered the price to $875.
Just had a bit of a moment there with the Virginia Tech car, but caught it.
They've had several moments today. Looks like he's lost.
He lost drive, yeah. Transmission.
His power's fine. Well, at least the gauges are still lit up, so.
Yeah, he needs to stay to the right.
Yeah, because cars love to hug that driver left wall.
Okay.
Take the widest arc they can through turn 4.
Yeah, I think that's where he's at too, and he's just telling the team, I got no gears. So he's lost the ability to put the car into gear. Said it's just in neutral. And I'm coming up in the last 5 minutes here, so I'm gonna...
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
And I don't know as far as what race control thinks, but a lot of times the car fails with like 5 minutes to go. They don't want to throw a caution and have the race end under a yellow.
Yeah.
So they'll just leave you out there, kind of.
They'll probably leave him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've only got probably 2 laps to go, so. Maybe 3.
So he's looking in his mirrors playing like, gosh, man, one of these guys going to come get me. But the answer's probably not. Not going to happen until after they finish this race. So he's just going to have to sit tight, most likely, because we are so close to the end.
Because they want to see the checkered.
Well, they're going to have to look at it from
2 laps to go.
2 laps to go is the word. On board with North by Northeast Racing. And the Zip Tide Racing team is also out here turning laps. Those are the 2 remaining in-car cameras that we have. But our focus is really going to be on the start-finish line, looking for that checkered flag for this year's race at the Racing Radio's 14-hour Enduro. And it should be for RVA Graphics and Wraps, who's up about a lap over Freddie Mercury.
Yep. So, ChampCar rules, you don't have to be running at the checkered flag.
Yeah, they focus on the lap counts.
Yeah.
And it's a timed race, but it's focused on lap counts.
So it looks like we're going to hold on to 12th place when you remove the 2 EC cars in front of us. because we are 4 laps ahead of PhD Racing.
So what the officials are doing is they're keeping an eye on RVA graphics and wraps of where they are on the racetrack, and they're calling the corners rather are calling out when they see the car come by their corner, so that the race control and the starter can keep track of where that car is. And as they come
Thanks
around,
for getting that camera working again, Bill.
Yeah, as they come around to take the final lap, they'll be given what we call a 1 to go, which means usually the starter just holds up one finger into the air so that the driver hopefully can see that there's just 1 lap to go. It might hold up a furled white flag. So that would be the 1 lap to go, and then that would be the final lap. When they come back around, they'll throw the checker. There's the 1 to go. So you might see them come by here. This might be RVA coming up, because we got about a 20 to 30 second delay. And our camera's a little bit sketchy, so we may or may not catch the actual moment that they're flagged, but we'll get the idea.
Try and get it as close as we can.
So this is the final time around the 2.4 mile road circuit here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for RVA graphics and wraps as they work themselves through the infield. And we will be watching for them to come across that start-finish line and take the
pretty
checkered
easy car
flag
to
here.
spot since it's wrapped so beautifully.
It is indeed. Not sure if that was them or not.
No, I don't believe it was.
I don't want them to get away from me. Don't want to miss
Well, they're
them
going
there.
a lot faster than you, Colin.
They are. It's true.
You're down several laps, I believe.
Let's not talk about my personal life, okay, Doc? Let's try to keep it professional here.
You're miles ahead in my book, buddy.
I thank you, my friend. You are the same.
Aw. And I didn't get you anything.
Virginia Tech is stranded on the racetrack with a car that won't go anywhere. So they are between turns 2 and 3. So here comes that checkered flag.
Checkered flag. Great job, team. Round of applause.
Looking for RVA graphics and wraps as they appear on the front straightaway. And there is the checkered flag in the air for RVA graphics and wraps.
See him flipping on his lights back and forth.
Taking the win. Freddie Mercury is going to come in second place in their Mercury Capri. Maximum effort in their Mazda Miata. They're going to take third place and B class, as well as JAE Motorsports taking fourth and winning A class. So Freddie Mercury takes D class, and RVA Graphics and Wraps not only takes the overall win, but also the victory for C class. So congratulations to RVA Graphics and Wraps on a win, and it was hard fought.
Yes, it was.
I think that's the closest finishing position throughout the field, is between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Everybody else
what
had these
more can you ask
huge
for?
gaps,
And it's
yeah.
all for free here on ChampCar.Live.
That's right.
Presented by AutoZone.
376 laps complete, 14 hours of continuous endurance road racing, and it all came down to the last lap, really, for RVA Graphics and Wraps, taking the win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Racing Radio's 14-hour Enduro. So running through the standings here, we've got RVA Graphics and Wraps taking the overall win. Freddie Mercury is second. Maximum Effort is third. JE Motorsports is fourth. AOA Racing is fifth in the number 585. The ADD team finishes sixth. Barely Racing captures seventh place. AOA Racing in the number 575 takes 8th. Apex Predators takes 9th. And North by Northeast finishes 10th. There they are crossing that start-finish line to take 10th place overall.
How about that?
And you'll see the Virginia Tech team is just to the right. They've ducked off the racetrack here, and you actually may not be able to see them for all of the lighting. There you can see the taillights right there parked by the side of the road for Virginia Tech. Ziptide finishes the race, still running.
And I mean, that's the Virginia Tech guys. You got to feel for them.
Sure.
You know, to get so close and not take the checkered flag. But they did a great job.
They did do a great job. They should be very proud of themselves because they
Absolutely.
did a fantastic job. Ziptide, after you pull the EC cars out, comes in 16th place. And Brew Crew, it would be in 12th, if I read this right.
That is correct, sir.
So we'll take a quick look at the standings here as the teams continue to motor around to come into the paddock area in the pits. So there are the standings after 376 laps. RBA Graphics taking the win with Freddie Mercury in second. Maximum Effort is third. And I'll roll down through the standings here so you can see the overall, because I know our pylon is stopping around the 22nd, around 21, 22. So Laps of Honor does come in 22nd. Broke for this is 23rd. Tater's Garage 4th. Virginia Tech 25th. Derwig is 26th. MHKFS is 27th. Stimulus Racing 28th. And Spare Parts 29th. Looking at the cars by class. Class A sponsored by Krispy Kreme. There's only 4 cars in Class A. JAE Motorsports taking the win in Class A. Maximum Effort taking the win in Class B, sponsored by Discovery Parts. Class C, sponsored by Money Shift Racing, is captured by RVA Graphics and Wraps. D Class, captured by Freddie Mercury in their 1986 Mercury Capri.
There you have it.
Yep. And the rescue team is there to pick up the Virginia Tech Honda Civic.
He's going to say, guys, why couldn't you get to me earlier?
I don't think it would have mattered with the transmission. That's a no-go.
Yeah.
Kind of done.
I know we had some overheating problems years ago at Daytona, and I parked just short of the start-finish line so I could say we finished. And Ethan Lowe was nice enough to hop over the wall and help me push the car over to the start-finish line. It's a class act, that young man.
Nice. So appreciate all the kudos, guys, and for
we had fun,
for thanking us for doing the show. Yeah, we always have. We always
all
have
the cameras stayed up. So great job, Bill.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. You think we should keep him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
He's our buddy.
Yeah.
He's kind of like family, you know. You don't get to pick your family, but you gotta live with it.
No, Bill's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's also my ride back to the hotel tonight.
So he's a really great guy.
Yeah. I'm telling you, if you look closely, you can see the sun shining right out of his ass.
We didn't get to the kerosene dipped socks, but maybe with the next show we can talk about that. Told my wife that one last night. She about died.
Yeah, that's a funny joke.
But I guess that's going to do it for us for this weekend, folks. Thanks for tuning in and watching us here on ChampCar.Live, presented by AutoZone. So we're going to sign off for now, and then well, we'll be back for the Watkins Glen broadcast here next month. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Hope you sign in with us and watch us from there. So for the passion of the sport, I'm Paul Veltum for Doc Waldrop and Bill Strong. We'll go ahead and we'll see you next time, folks. So so long.
Bye.